The course of history shows that government grows, liberty decreases. And this is thoughts while I'm thinking, and these opinions are mine. And what's a greater threat to liberty, terrorism or the actions the government takes because it wants to protect you from terrorism? Now that's something worth considering. Think about it. And Ben Franklin said, to give up the essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety, you deserve neither liberty nor safety. Well, I guess we're not deserving it, but we don't have it anymore. We just got to get it back. And we got to work for getting our liberty and freedom back the way it was. And liberty is not equality, fairness or justice or human happiness or quiet conscience. Well, think about that. Liberty is just the right to do what pleases you. And our lives and our liberty and property are never in greater danger than when Congress is in session. And that's the way we are right now. They take away your rights every time they meet. Think about it. And that's what our greatest threat to freedom is what's going on in Washington and the swamp and Congress and when they're talking about all the stuff and trying to tell you how free you are. Remember that. A concentrated power has always been the enemy of liberty, and that's what we have in Washington is concentrated power, and that's the enemy of our liberty. Think about it. The greater share the government have in government, the less liberty we have, the less civil or religious we have. That's the way the nation enjoys it. We have less the more we have government. And the greatest threat to liberty is the idea that democracy guarantees freedom. Now think about that. They're telling you all of this stuff, but we got to go back and remember what we know. And the enemy of liberty is the ones that get praised for the tireless and evil efforts undermining the founding principles of our republic and violating human rights and our countrymen. That's what we got to watch out for, and that's what it looks like we got going on at the deep swamp. Think about it. We got to consider that. And we got to get back to the way about the greater good. Does it give us protection and freedom? No, I think it just takes it away. The greater good is the enemy to freedom. And the freedom means you're unobstructed in living your life as you choose. And anything less is a form of slavery. Now consider that and consider where we are today, because we're in a form of slavery. And no greater freedom than the freedom to give yourself the gift to choose, to surround yourself with those that appreciate you as you truly are. Think about it. Be yourself. Well, we got to fight for freedom to be ourselves, and we appreciate you subscribing, and we thank you much. And what if we told you that we don't have a democracy, we have a republic? Now think about it. We keep saying democracy, and everybody talks about democracy, but we are a republic. You know, the democracy is a vote. 49% of the people are subject to what the will of the 51%, whereas the republic, we've got laws and we've got the representatives and we've got protection against the masses. Think about it. And the freedom is not a gift bestowed upon us by other men, but is it a right that belongs to us by the laws of God and nature. Well, that's what the founding fathers had, and that's what we need to get back. And liberty is endangered by abuses of liberty as well as abuses of power. And we got both abuses going on in Washington today. And the difference between a democracy and a republic is a democracy is nothing more than mob rule, whereas a 51% can take away the rights of and freedom of the 49%, whereas a republic is a government of laws. And democracy never lasts. It soon washes itself out and it is exhausted and it becomes and commits suicide. Now think about it. We gotta stay with our republic and get away from the idea of a democracy. And republics versus a democracies is nothing more than mob rule. 51% can take away all the rights of the 49%. We've just said that, but it's worth repeating. Think about it. And informed republic has to be the citizens. You got to be educated. You got to know, and you got to learn, and you got to fight for your freedoms. They'll take it away if you don't fight for them. And democracy is and the republic are just two opposite on the poles, because the republic is the one that keeps you free. And John Adams said, if a constitution government once changed from freedom, it can never be restored. Liberty once lost is lost forever. Now think about the 14th Amendment and the Commerce Clause. Are we lost forever, or can we regain it somewhere or another? And the armies and debts and taxes and known instruments for bringing many under the domination of a few. That's where we are. We're under the domination of a few. And fascism is more appropriately called capitalism, corporatism, because it is a merger of the state and the corporate power. And they're what we have today. And the United States of America is a republic. Think about it. We can't enforce that enough. And we got to move forward with it. And the control capitalism is called, a definition is fascism. And that's what we have today, because government is running our companies and our businesses by all the rules and the IRS and all the other rules that we have. Think about it. Fascism is capitalism plus murder. Think about it. That's what we got going on right now. Fascism is capitalism in decay, because that's what we are. We're getting criticized our capitalistic society when we don't really have it. We have a fascist society and the economy. Think about it. Evil is evil, and the greater meddling that makes no difference, and the degree of arbitrary definition is blurred. If I have to choose between two evils, I'd rather not choose at all. So think about where you are when you're voting. Oh goodness, we got to do something. We got to keep our elections clean and clear. And the rightful liberty is unobstructed actions according to the will and within the limits drawn by us, we equal rights of others. We do not add within the limits of the law, because often the tyrant will always so when it violates the rights of the individual, and the laws are violating our rights of the individual right now. Think about it. We got to move forward on it. And government is not the solution, it's a problem. That's what Ronald Reagan said, and he nailed it right down. And he also said we must reject the idea that every time a law is broken, society is guilty rather than the lawbreaker. It is time to restore Americans' concept of individual accountability. We got to get it back to individual accountability. Think about it. When the people fear the government, it's tyranny. When the government fears the people, it's liberty. And right now we're afraid of the government. IRS can take us and destroy us. Appreciate your signing up. And liberty is a right to choose. Freedom is the result of right choice. And we have not been making the right choices lately. We got to get back to it. And Eisenhower said, if you want total security, go to prison. There you have, you're fed, you're clothed, and you're given medical care and so on. The only thing lacking is freedom. Well, that's where we are. We're lacking freedom. And it's security versus liberty. Let's give us liberty. I'd rather live in a dangerous side instead of a safe slavery. But we got to get back to liberty. And we got to get back to liberty and justice for all, as the Constitution said. And Reagan also said there's no easy answers, but there's one simple thing: we must have the courage to do while we know what is right. And we know what is right is to get our freedom back. And I appreciate your watching and appreciate it. It's just thoughts while thinking, and adios amigos, and we'll see you on the flip side.